Hello. Sorry I disappeared for like 3, 4 months. Um, yeah, I got busy I finally entered the music world as a professional and with traveling to and from to see my family a lot. I kind of just put making videos to the side, and also it was because I finally finished The Way of Kings and I honestly just got overwhelmed with trying to make a video of my thoughts of the book just because so much happened in the book and I just felt like I couldn't make a video that would do it justice. Uh, and at this point, I think I finished the book like maybe 2 months ago, and I've picked up Words of Radiance now, and I'm about 120 pages in. But I'm feeling inspired to make videos again, and my work as a musician, oddly, in December has toned down. Like I don't actually have much work, which is weird for musicians because usually December is like the busiest time of the year because of Christmas. But so I have time to make videos, and I've been watching some booktubes, so I've been inspired to make videos again. So I guess I'll give just a bit of thoughts of how I felt of Way of Kings. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, how can you not? I don't think it was my absolute favorite read of the year, but it was definitely up there. Um, I at this point, because it's been a couple months, like I have a few big points that I remember that really stuck out. Like, so spoilers, obviously, don't watch my videos if you haven't finished Way of Kings. And I'm about 120 pages into Words of Radiance, so catch up if you don't want to be spoiled. So basically, I'm very like deadpan when I read, and when Brother Capsule died, I think I went, oh no. My boyfriend was like, what happened? Like one of the characters I really liked just died. Like I didn't believe he actually died. And then, so I'm really intrigued with Shallon's adventure. Her storyline is definitely my favorite, but I think because there's so much world building, like there's so many world building aspects that are in her storyline, because I know the book is Way of Kings, so obviously there's a lot of war and politics and stuff, but that's not my favorite thing to read about. So obviously I love Kaladin's storyline as well, but I prefer Shallon's line over his, just because of all the war stuff. I'm just like, okay, like it's war politics. Like, can I get back to a Shallon chapter? And yeah, I needed to make a video because I just got to the chapter where there was the mutiny um, on the ship that Shallon is on, and Jasna just died. I'm like, no, she was also one of my favorite characters. So I'm like, okay, these books are getting similar to Game of Thrones, where I can't get too attached to any characters because any character is up for dying. Like I can't get too comfortable. So yeah, I'm loving Way of Kings so far. I've also started. I put a timer on to read for half an hour because I do a lot of embroidery in my downtime. Like that's my go-to hobby when I have free time. I really struggle to pick up a book rather than my embroidery. So I've started making I put a timer on for half an hour. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read for half an hour. That way I at least get half an hour in during the day. So I did that yesterday and that worked. I think I read like 30 pages of Way of Kings. I read like 2 chapters. Usually getting through one chapter is hard for me. And so the other reason I wanted to make a video today, I was watching some booktube today and I saw this new account that I'd never seen before. Her account is Chantel Reads All Day, and she has a book challenge for 2024 that I really enjoyed, and I think I'm gonna try and do for the new year. Uh, so she has like a prompt for each month. There's like 2 options, so you pick one option in January, and then you have to follow down that road for the rest of the year. And they're based on Lucy Maud Montgomery and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So I think it's a really interesting idea. I'm just gonna grab the prompts. I'm gonna go over the books that I think I'm gonna choose for each month. and it's a challenge to read the books that you own, like read your bookshelf challenge. Okay, I stopped recording to write down her prompts and figure out which books I was doing because I realized I was taking way too much time to go through her video and to figure out what I wanted to do. So I have all the books that I'm going to do for her challenge. So the first one, you can either go with Lucy Maud Montgomery or Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And I went with the Lucy Maud Montgomery prompt, which is to read a book with a cat on the cover. Because the other option was read a book with a dog on the cover, and for both of these, I don't have any books with that. So the closest I could get was I have Margaret Atwood's Cat's Eye. So I think that counts. So that's what I'm going to read for January. And then for February, so I have to go down the Lucy Maud Montgomery option. So that one is to read a book that is over 400 pages. So I think it's ambitious of me, but assuming I finish Words of Radiance, I'm going to get Oathbringer, and I'm going to try to read that in a month. Which, yeah, 1,000 pages in a month. I don't know if that'll happen, but it's my goal. So yeah, Oathbringer for February. And then, so March is to read a book with the point of view. Oh, with 2 points of view. So I'm going to get Rhythm of War after. I know there's more than 2 points of view, but that one I also struggled with because a lot of my books I don't actually know the synopsises of. But I mean Rhythm of War, yeah, there's more than 2 points of view, but I'll probably change that one, but we'll go with that for now. And then April, both the prompts are the same, and it is to read a book. Oh, I think I messed up here. Yes, I did. Because April is to read a book with a main character that has red hair, so I was going to read, my option for that is Rhythm of War. I didn't actually pick a book with 2 points of view. So I might have to come back to that one because, yeah, I don't know the synopsis enough to know which ones actually only have 2 points of view. So we'll leave that one for now. So April is going to be Rhythm of War. And then, so for May, you had the option to switch if you want. So I'm switching to the Arthur Conan Doyle option. And that prompt is to read a new to you author. So for that one, I recently bought Cage of Souls by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Whoops. My books. So yeah, I want to get into him. He is... everyone seems to love his books, especially the Children of Time series, but I have this one, so I'm going to start with that. So that's for April, or sorry, that's for May. And then for June, it is to read a sci-fi or fantasy book. So that one was easy for me. I have lots of options. This one I've actually also could have done new to you author. I recently bought Legends and Lattes as well. So I want to get through that one. That is also a genre that I've never really read before, like cozy fiction. So we'll see if I like that or not. And then July is to read a short story collection. I have H.G. Wells' The Great Science Fiction. I have started the first one, but I've only gotten like 10 pages in. It has The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Invisible Man, The War of the Worlds, and a bunch of his shorter stories. I think there's like 15 stories total in that book. So that's going to be my July read. And then August, I really struggled with this one. It is House on the cover. And again, I couldn't find any books that really just had like one house on the cover. Like I had the image of Stephen King's Holly, like that would be a good option. But for what I have, this one is going to be a struggle for me. It is Bonheur d'Occasion. It is Gabrielle Roy. She's actually, I found her because she had a similar path to me. She was born in Manitoba and then she moved to Montreal at some point. And so this book is written in French. I'm not fluent in French, but I'm trying, and I try to read books in French just to help with my French comprehension. It has been translated into English. I think in English the title is The Tin Flute. So I'm going to try to read this that is for the month of August, because Yes, those are the houses that you typically see in Montreal. So that should be an interesting read if I can actually understand enough of it. And then September is to read a book that involves puzzles, codes, or mystery. Struggled with this one a little bit. I ended up picking. This book doesn't have a synopsis on it at all, but just going by the cover, like the picture looks very mysterious, puzzly, and the name too, the Quincunx, sounds very puzzle codes mystery to me. So we'll see if that actually ends up being like that. And then October is to read a nonfiction. So I actually picked up a bunch of books recently from a friend. She was getting rid of them. So I said, yes, I will take all your books. And she actually reads quite a fair amount of nonfiction, which is good because I don't actually own very much. And she has two books by Michio Kaku. I've actually watched a couple podcasts where he is a guest, and he's very intelligent. Space, I love learning about space, so I will pick one of these. I'm not sure yet. There's hyperspace and physics of the impossible, so go with one of these. And then the next month, November, is to read a book that intimidates you. Had a lot of options for that. But I decided to go with Infinite Jest. This has been on my shelf for so many years. I think that maybe could also count as puzzles or mystery, but this really intimidates me. So I've been wanting to read it for a long time, but I know it's quite a confusing read. So this will be my November challenge. And then the last one for December, she actually had 4 options. I don't know if you're supposed to pick more than one option for this month, but the option for Sherlock in December is to read a book that has more than 10 in the series. So I'm going to start. I have the Eye of the World, Wheel of Time series, which I haven't started. So I'm going to try and start that in December. And then her option for Watson was a standalone book, which I have. This was also from my friend's stack of books. It's Bewilderment by Richard Powers. I've read Overstory by him and I absolutely loved it. It's a lot about trees and nature, so I think I will really enjoy this, and the cover is really pretty too, which is a nice plus. And then the option for Anne is to read 5 to 10 in a series. So I know the 5th Stormlight archive is supposed to be coming out, so that will be my option for that one. And then the Emily option is to read a trilogy book. So I have the Lord of the Rings set. So I've never read Lord of the Rings. I did start The Hobbit at some point, but I never finished it. So I'm going to also start Lord of the Rings. So that should be a fun December, starting a lot of series in the month of December. But yeah, hopefully I am more consistent about making videos now. It will be my challenge in the new year to make more videos and more consistently. I would like to try and make maybe one video a week, or doing more vlog type videos where I just, as I'm reading, I record myself of my reactions to what I'm reading, especially with the Stormlight archive books, just because they're so massive. It'd be a lot easier to just film as I'm reading the book. But yeah, thank you for watching.